All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Star Trek Adventures game, USS Akatsuki. If you remember from last week, the crew, through some clever use of anethicene gas ordered by Lieutenant Rix, has just taken over and secured the Nausicaan vessel that was attacking them in this region of space. And I believe the consensus was that a couple of actions that happen off screen, just to narrate some things for anyone who might be watching. Um, we're going to go ahead and speed up time by a couple of hours. We're going to call that the crew of the mercenary ship has been secured. Lieutenant Rix made mention that he wanted them separated due to the infighting, so they could try to figure out what's going on later. But we are going to start at the Nausicaan ship. It just being secured. So let me get all these Nausicaans out of here. I should mention that because of the little bit of a time jump, anybody who you guys feel needs to be on the ship can be on it. So you guys can start whatever you're wanting to do on the ship. You guys could be anywhere that's not cut off by battle damage. This is just my crudely drawn engineering. So yeah, I'll leave the floor to you.
Actually, if I could, I would like to have Mahawk on here.
As long as the captain has no problem with it, I'm okay. The link I don't remember, so it's possible.
Yeah, I had suggested that we set up a computer link between this ship and the Akatsuki so that we could grab any information off of their computers that we wanted.
I think it was just suggested. I'm not sure we actually did it because I think before I was going to do any rolls on the ship, I jumped to the captain. So I'm not sure we actually started the process of doing that.
I know it
It
was
was one
brought
of the
up. I don't know if it
last.
was ever
It
initiated.
it was one of the last things we did, so we didn't really do anything with it.
Okay,
Terrell got the order to do it, and I assigned her to do it, but we haven't acted on it yet.
okay, gotcha. All right, so I guess the question is, what are you guys looking for on the ship?
Um, I say we start with flight logs, figure out where the thing's been.
All right, Rix, you wanted to be on the Akatsuki. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to be combing through their systems, well, actually, I think Mohawk has engineering skills. Is that correct?
Not computer engineering skills, just like right now he's just listed as repairs and maintenance, so
Gotcha.
it would probably be advised to have you over if you wanted to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, I was thinking Kay was gonna head over to the freighter to begin repairs on that. Because we don't know when the next time we might get attacked. And we need to get the logs from the freighter as well.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, wherever I need to go.
All right, so Kane's heading to freighter. Rix is on the Akatsuki. Doctor's doing his thing in sick bay. Mahawk's on the ship. Captain, where were you heading?
To the freighter. I know the freighter's got heavy radiation damage, so we'll be going over environmental suits because most of it's exposed to Atmo. Most of it is
Okay.
exposed to Atmo, so
Alrighty, and then the big question is, Duncan, where are you going? And keep in mind you could play supporting crew 2 just to put you in scenes.
Yeah, I'll just tag on with one of the other search parties while I give my bearing for the mission. So we're searching through the Nausicaan ship now, right?
That's the current scene,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I guess he'll join me with the EXO and that.
Cool. So I'll give you guys the floor.
Right. So Mahawk is going to be trying to access computer logs, unless someone wants to grab one of the support engineers and be over here as well.
Oh, yeah, I will say that for these split up things, I don't mind. I will waive the cost for crew support just to allow everybody to play in each scene.
Okay.
So whatever you guys, you know, you can throw 5 supports in here if you want. Does not matter to me. I will waive the cost during these split scenes. But alrighty, so what are you guys doing?
coming for the Nazi ship, it should just be navigation logs and any print information as to why they attack here. This was like a stage setup or what? Because they did have that anonymous signal I sent to blow up the ship from some other entity.
All right. So which one would you guys like? So yeah, those are all good things to look for. What would you like to tackle first?
Navigation logs.
All right. Go. This will probably be like a reason engineering or reason con. This one's going to be a difficulty 3.
Will this count as an activation for Mahawk?
If he's rolling dice, yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't activated yet this mission, right?
No, I don't think so. Let's see. First activation was back in Entrepreneurial Spirit.
Okay. I'll put it this way. You guys do still have the crew support. I will let you guys activate anybody. You guys need to just to allow everybody the opportunities to play on in each part. However, to upgrade the crew support needs to be spent.
Okay.
I think that's a fair way to do it. You guys could activate whoever you want, just so everyone has the opportunity to play in each part. But to get the activation to get the upgrades, you have to spend the crew support. I think that's fair. And then I believe Mahawk's a supervisory character, so he would cost 2.
Yeah. And we only have 4 total.
But you don't need to activate them to have them roll dice.
Okay.
Just to get the upgrades.
Then I will just go ahead and roll dice as it is for right now. All right. You said diff 3?
Yep.
Would you accept repairs and maintenance as a focus?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because you're not actually repairing the systems, you're just looking for them for information.
All right. I would like to buy a die with threat.
We have 5 players today, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Oop.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh indeed. I do not have anything to counter that with, so that stands.
All right. I could probably give you some information succeed at cost.
Yeah, I'll succeed at cost.
All right. The logs regarding the navigation has been pretty badly damaged. However, as you're going through searching the engineering and other parts of the ship, you do find like a you do find like a data chip that has some information on it, which I'll give you. I do have to adjust some of it though, so just give me a minute. Let me find where you are.
Please stand by while your information is redacted.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, I think that's pretty much all I can give you about that.
All right. What condition is the raider in? I know we did some damage to it, but like,
Yeah, it's in pretty bad shape. I mean, there's areas of the ship that are inaccessible. The weapon. Where? Let me pull up the ship to see what the damage actually is, because I think you hit weapons twice. I think they took a breach to structure. And what was the other breach to? Let me find it. Every time I try to find that space thing, it's always missing. All right, this is so weird. When I click on the Artemis folder to try to change scenes, the only thing it's showing me is quarters. Oh. Why the art? There it is. Never mind. Wrong folder. Oh, so it's worse than I thought. There's 2 breach the engines, a breach the structure, breach the weapons. So yeah, so the ship's in pretty bad shape. It will probably require dry dock to fix with how bad the engines are.
Okay.
Because I believe the engines are destroyed at that point at 2 breaches. Yeah, I know it was 2 to something. I just couldn't remember if it was weapons or engines.
Kind of hope it was
But yeah,
weapons.
But yeah, there's parts of this ship that are cut off due to the battle damage from the hits to structure. The engines are pretty much non-functional. Weapons are damaged. Bits and pieces of bulkheads dropped everywhere. Blood on the
Okay.
ground from the crew doing their thing. Pretty bad sight.
Okay. I want to then verify that the uplink between this ship's computer and the Akatsuki is ready and functioning.
Yes. Yeah, we could go ahead and say that.
Okay, so I don't need to roll that.
Yeah, I think in the 2 hours it took you to secure the crew, that could have been done. Now it's just sifting through the information.
Okay. Well, I will take the data shard that I found, and I will return to the Akatsuki with it.
Right. Anything else you guys are wanting to try to find out on here?
Oh, that's right, the comm logs.
What are you trying to look for in those?
Where they might have received that signal from that triggered their self-destruct, or was attempting to trigger their self-destruct.
Okay. Go ahead and this will be a difficulty 2 task.
Okay.
I'm thinking reason or insight engineering.
Better.
All right. With the data pad, I think I could just give you this information, unless you want me to keep it just to use if you wanted to role play it. Either way,
Go ahead.
what
and
would
give
you guys
that data
prefer?
for me.
Okay. So you're going through the communications logs, and your analysis reveals that the communications it's been receiving seems to come from the same source, but from different locations, possibly within a 2 light year radius, probably from within a 2 light year radius of your current location. Furthermore, it appears that dozens of smaller communications seem to have been sent to the Nausicaans individually, all with the
Can I-
same signature.
Can I get the gist of what those individual communications were? Is it
Give me
something
a
like
diff one. Yeah, give me a diff one.
Still engineering reason?
Engineering or security, I think, with insider reason. Right, gain a momentum.
Hmm.
You begin to open up some of the encrypted personal messages, and a lot of them are things like kill the captain and receive a payment of 2 bars of gold pressed latinum. One of them is like, if you blow up the ship's warp core, you will receive 10 bars of latinum. Things along those nature. And it's all about like sabotaging the ship, killing members of the crew, things like that.
Destroying key functionalities of the ship and its crew, so that if they actually are captured, there's nothing for them to find. Got it. Okay, yeah, I will download all of that and return to the Akatsuki.
All right. Anything else on the Akatsuki? Or sorry, anything else on the Nausicaan ship?
Not from me.
All right. So we'll stick with Theater of the Mind. We'll just jump over here. Captain Kier and sorry, wrong person. Commander Kane was heading to the freighter, correct? In spacesuits.
Yes, that was correct.
All right. I will give you to the floor.
Hi. Commander King, see we can get some temporary power online so we can try and access the freighter's navigation logs and the captain's personal logs.
Huh. Well, let's see what I can do. Things pretty badly banged up, Captain. So Kane is going to look around. Is there? Well, actually, let me ask it this way. What part of the freighter are they on right now?
You guys can be wherever you want.
Okay.
There are a few sections where hull breaches are in corridors that expose you to space, but you are in spacesuits. There are also parts of the ship that are irradiated, possibly near engineering. So, you guys could be on the bridge, you could be in engineering with the radiation, you could be in cargo bays, crew quarters, wherever. You could be in navigation itself, what passes as a navigational room, wherever.
Gotcha.
You tell me where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say we're in a corridor, and yeah, Kane will pull out his tricorder and attempt to assess, the location, like the nearest, I guess, power conduit relay, just so we can start tracing back where the power might be damaged, where you could get something on.
All right. Just give me a diff 0. Probably reason or daring. You said you're tracing the power. Yeah, we'll go reason or inside engineering,
Gotcha.
or con, whichever.
Say probably reason engineering in that case. Would you take emergency repairs for a focus?
I'll say yes.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, take a threat. Oh shit! Didn't realize we already had that much. All right, well, try to.
Well,
take some
I start with 10. So,
Oh, gotcha.
all right, you guys gain 2. All right, so the ship layout is pretty simple. Um, there's really only one main deck, which you guys are currently on. Everything seems to be connected through this corridor. The cargo bays are put off to the sides of it, but you can still access to. The bridge is, one way, engineering's the other way, and then there's like little offshoots of like life support, navigation, sick bay, crew quarters, a common area.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, Kane will attempt to. I'm basically assuming some scans to trace back to the damage sections of like the power grid, essentially, right? So he's going to try to determine if it's just the relays that he might need to repair, or if it is genuinely he has to get the engines back and online.
All right. You think that if you get access to engineering, you can probably bypass some of the damaged systems to at least get minimal power back onto some critical systems.
Right. Awesome. Let's head engineering.
The big part of engineering, though, is the radiation, but you got a suit, so you could walk in it if you want, or you could try to figure out if there's anything else you want to do with the radiation.
Yeah, I mean, we're protected, but he'll have his tricorder out, and then just be doing scans, to make sure that it's not like super critical, to where he thinks the suits might not be effective enough. And then yeah, I mean, assuming it's probably going to be the warp core, but yeah, he'll just keep an eye on his tricorder to see if that's in fact the case.
All right, so you guys get the engineering. I'm assuming you guys go in. So yeah, it's really just heading to a computer to bypass some of the more critical systems. I'll give you a roll. This will probably just be a difficulty 2, because I guess you are setting up a trait here. Control engineering.
Righty. Emergency repairs for focus. Yeah,
Yeah.
take another threat. Okay, cool. Take another threat. See if we can keep getting some momentum. Hey, nice.
All right, gain 2 more. All right, Kane, you start working on the ship's systems, and you suddenly hear a phew, as some of the ship's systems power back on as you reroute some of the emergency access.
Alrighty. Yeah, and as part of that, he'll just do a quick diagnostic on the ship just to make sure that nothing's going to go explodey anytime soon.
As long as you keep main systems offline, you probably don't have to worry about that. But
Cool.
you might have to worry about containment if you try to get the engines back running.
Cool. Yeah, he'll turn to the captain, just say, "Well, Captain, looks like we've got some power, enough to probably probe around a little bit, and doesn't look like we're in danger of any unforeseen issues. Although it does look like the engines are probably going to remain offline for a while."
Thank you, Commander. See if you can't download the navigational data. Have a freighter. I am going to sit to the captain's quarters. And if there's any logs that you can get also from the bridge, can be sure to download them.
Of course, Captain. By the way, how you doing in the new role?
I would like to think I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Never been better. Got a lot going on. Got a protege working on some projects. So keeping myself busy,
Understood.
Just let me know if you need anything, Captain.
I will let you know. Thank you, Commander.
course. Kane will walk up and start grabbing some logs. He'll take navigation logs, captain's logs, and then he'll comb through and see if he can spot anything else that might be interesting.
Right. Let me double check some things here. All right. Go ahead and give me. This will probably just be a difficulty 1 task. Navigational logs are not hard to pull. Engineering and control probably. Just to nab those.
Cool. Computer systems for focus.
Yes.
Nice. Let's see the threat. Yeah, I'll throw momentum at this one.
Ooh, very good. I said there's diff 1s. You're at max momentum.
Don't know if we'll need
All
it.
right, Cade.
I'll get some. Yeah.
You're you start sifting through the navigation logs, and it's pretty straightforward. It has them plotting the course from whatever starbase I said it was last session. They followed it pretty much, not perfect, but perfect enough for a civilian crew course to this sector, and it was pretty much just a straight line to their coordinates where they were attacked. So there wasn't any deviation from the station to here.
Gotcha.
And to where you found them, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, second order business is try to see if I can access captain's logs and bridge logs.
I think the captain was doing that, right?
Captain, were you doing that, or?
I'm headed to the captain's quarters to get any logs that are not in the system. Like if he hid anything in there. So
For the diary.
Right. Kane, for your end, this will probably just be a momentum.
Okay.
And it's pretty much just the straightforward stuff. Ship's maintenance logs, mention of the difficulties navigating the sector, things like that. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. And then just because I'm paranoid, have a lot of momentum, I'm going to look for evidence of tampering, I guess, or like the changing of logs, or anything from like hacking to tampering of the system.
I'll take the question.
Cool. Okay, gonna check the box. Yeah, Kane will tap his comm badge.
You have the power to tap it yourself.
I know. I'm trying to remember which one it is. There it is. Kane to Captain Kier.
go ahead.
Oh, we got it all, Captain. Nothing out of the ordinary, though. Looks very straightforward, and I didn't find any evidence of tampering. I can send the logs back to the Akatsuki.
Go ahead and do that.
It will be done. Would you like me to join you at the captain's quarters, or I can poke around here?
Go ahead and poke around a little bit, but when you're done, you can meet me at the captain's quarters.
You got it, Captain. Kane out. Yeah, Kane is honestly he has a focus in Xeno. I think it's Xeno technology, right? Yeah. He's going to probe around this engineering bay, see if there's anything that is out of the ordinary, or see if there's anything honestly that he could learn from this freighter for future missions like this.
Sorry, what was that, Kane?
Kane's going to poke around a little bit, look around the engineering bay. With his interest in xenotechnology, he's going to see if he can just learn anything interesting. Probably the first time he's been on a Nausicaan freighter like this. So
You're on
This is not
you're
a-
on a regular freighter, not a
I'm
Nausicaan
on
raider.
a regular freighter. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, in that case, he's just going to poke around, see if he finds anything interesting, but mainly kind of wasting some time to give the captain some space before he goes up there.
He's looking for the crew's hidden stash of alcohol.
Always.
Is that what you're looking for?
I mean, if there is, then yeah.
I'll give you a roll to see if you find any.
Fuck yeah.
This is probably going to be. Well, how are you approaching trying to find it? Let's start there.
Okay. Since I want to avoid a con roll, if at all possible, he's going to pull out his engineering tricorder and attempt to locate any hidden compartments or anything else behind the walls.
Smart. I'm thinking insight engineering, but it's got to be a div 3. I can't make this easy.
Oh, that's fair. Huh. Do I have a focus for looking for contraband? Nah. Unless you will take survival as a focus.
I will not.
That is the only one I could try for. Yeah, take a threat because this is important.
What'd you say?
Threat.
It said threat.
And thank God, because I am re-rolling that complication. Mother, come on. Is it a stash, but it's like bottled water or something?
You find an angry pet.
Yeah. Get clawed in the face.
So your unfamiliarity with ships like this, you can't even make heads or tails of where hiding spots could even be. What you think are hiding spots or large gaps in the wall turned out to be clusters of wires that, your engineering brain says shouldn't be there, but here they are. Things that you think would not be obviously hiding spots, anyway, you don't find any. Things that might be spots for contraband are empty. Places you think would be the real hiding stuff ends up being equipment.
Damn it. Out of frustration, he is going to take one of the wires that shouldn't be there, according to him, and just pull out some pliers and clip it.
Give me fitness, since I got all this threat. Give me a fitness engineering roll, difficulty 2.
Okay. May I ask what the outcome of this roll is? See if I have.
Well, you
See how high you jump as you cut an active wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. You said you just took pliers that are cutting active wires, so it is pretty much to see if you're getting electrocuted for the most part.
Okay. Fair enough. Sure, I have a talent or a focus for this one. Unless you would take survival this time.
This time I would.
Hey, glad I asked. Uh, nah, I want to see what happens. Yeah, take a threat.
Okay. What I say this was 2. So I think you're sitting on 3 float. So Cade, you just take a basically like a cutting device that's lying around engineering, and with your frustration of not finding anything good aboard the ship, you just start cutting random wires and conduits, each one sparking as you cut it. But your expertise in engineering is somehow helping you here, and you kind of make a game of it to see how many sparks you can get to fly before they touch you.
Kane will just breathe a sigh of relief. I need to do that more often. And then he'll tool his way up to, I guess, the captain's. Well, not the quarters. It was the ready room, I guess.
I know
All right,
the
we'll
perfect
jump to the.
complication for that would have been.
Oh, I know. I was kind of looking forward to it, but
No, the perfect complication would have been that you cut power to the captain's ready room where your captain is trying to
honestly,
go through the captain's
that's why I
logs.
was asking what the outcome was. Because if the outcome was randomly cutting power to a certain place on the freighter, I wouldn't have put any threat into
I don't.
it. Uh,
I don't think he has like a ready room. I think he just has a quarters. Right? Because it's a small freighter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Kane's gonna find his way that way.
For next time. All right, we'll jump to the captain. Captain, you're looking around the quarters. Let me know what you're doing.
I'm looking for hidden compartments, a personal data pad, anything to kind of indicate what the captain was doing.
Okay, give me an insight or reason con. We'll make this a difficulty 2.
Philly support. I'm gonna spend 3 momentum. Because I do not have a focus. Unless you take infiltration, for like hidden compartments.
I think I will. Get 2 of it back. Captain, as you're searching around the room, you do notice something odd just in his bed. It looks to be a locked compartment that's kind of built into the wall. It's very well hidden, but your expertise kind of highlights it.
And still examine it and see if she can't open it.
How are you? Oh, you're just studying it first and then trying to open?
Yeah, see how it looks potentially how to figure out how to open it, like a button or some sort of release mechanism.
Give me a insights or reason security. We'll go diff 2. I'll spend some threat to make it comp 2.
Infiltration for focus.
Yeah.
Two momentum, 1 threat.
Right. You use your tricorder to try to figure out how the locking mechanism actually works on this, and it surprises you that it's actually pretty complex. There is like a key system to it, but you think that the key system is actually something that emits a frequency that possibly the captain would hold onto. So it requires a certain frequency to open.
Could I emit something with my tricorder?
Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be a difficulty 3. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be control. I could see science being used here. I could see engineering being used here. And since it's a locking mechanism, I could see engineer or security being used here. One of those 3.
Did you say reason?
Control.
Right. Control.
Control with science, engineering, or security. Diff 3.
Sorry, I was trying to see if I could use a callback. Okay, so it's difficulty 3.
Yes.
Take control security.
Yep.
Infiltration for focus.
Yeah. I do imagine infiltration would include opening locks.
How? Choose threat, 1 momentum.
I do love threat.
How? Will you take a determination spend to reroll? A good mystery is irresistible.
I sure will.
And I reroll 2 dice. into a complication.
You succeeded, though. Okay. You fiddle with your tricorder to try to match the frequencies to unlatch the locking mechanism. It takes you a little bit, but you are eventually able to do that. And when the compartment opens, it's really like a small compartment, maybe half a meter wide, and it holds a lot of the captain's personal effects. And as you start sifting through it, there's like pictures of potential family, maybe a few ex-wives here or there, a very expensive bottle of Andorian brandy. And you do find a few data pads stowed in that as well.
She'll start looking to the data pads.
The data pads, however, are very, very encrypted. That would be the complication.
I'm assuming she has like a bag with her. If this was a retrieval mission.
Yeah.
She'll place all the contents of what's in the safe into the bag.
And as you're putting the stuff in there, you probably hear the door open behind you. Since Kane said you were heading that way.
Oh, Commander King?
Captain? Nothing of interest. In engineering, at least. Any luck up here?
Found some encrypted data pads from the captain. I will need to get them analyzed quickly on the ship.
Yeah, I would say we could certainly use the Akatsuki's computer systems on this to try to crack the encryption, find another weakness. You look around.
Well, and
Captain?
go ahead.
I was just looking around. I'd always considered maybe, well, for the Academy, going on a freighter. Not sure I would have enjoyed it.
I'm afraid a freighter would probably be too small for your ego, Commander.
Wow, coming out hot, Captain.
Just teasing a little, Commander. Good work. I think we can head out of here.
Well, you're probably not wrong. It is very simple. Feels sticky just being on this ship. Ugh. All right, well, I'll follow your lead, Captain.
To waiting to Akatsuki.
Akatsuki
Go
here,
ahead, away
Captain.
team.
Tube die meme out.
Understood, Captain.
All right, I think we'll head to sick bay. Rix, you said you wanted a scene here, so we'll go ahead and have you standing just outside the door to sick bay.
Yeah, so Rix is coming in. As he walks in, he glances to all of the Nausicans laying on the biobeds being treated. And then as he sees Dr. Valen, he walks up to him. Dr. Valen, may I have a moment of your time?
Ah, seems to be precious little of it these last day. What can I do for you?
In your office, if that would be permissible.
Of course. This way.
Doctor, I was just informed by one of my lieutenants that we have an Orion with a subdermal communicator on him. Is that correct?
Yes. I found it there when I was treating him.
And he's somehow still walking around the ship?
If I
Not
remember
in the
correctly,
brig?
the captain had him confined to quarters.
Did you deactivate the subdermal communicator?
No, that's not something I particularly know how to do. Would you like the specifications on it? I did get that from engineering, and I'll hold out a datapad in front of him.
Yes, of course. It is a security matter of highest degree. I'm concerned that the captain even let him stay in quarters.
Well, you'll have to take that up with her.
I shall. In the meantime, how are our new guests?
The ones that are awake, grouchy. But most all of them will recover.
How many?
Oh, I'm not even sure. I've lost count of how many we've gotten brought on board. It's been a plethora of stab wounds, disruptor burns, and several other things. Removed a piece of bulkhead from one of them. He thought it was funny.
I'd appreciate the data, Doctor.
When I finish my work, I will give you a full report of our accountings.
I'm gonna double security here in sickbay while the Nausicans are here. Just in case.
I understand. Just make sure they try and stay out of the way.
They will be in the way if they have to, Doctor. That's their job.
Only then is all I ask.
Do you know where Counselor Duncan is?
Last I heard, he had returned from the Nausicaan Raider with the commander. I'm not sure where he is currently. Just a second. Computer, locate Counselor Duncan.
Counselor Duncan is aboard the Nausicaan fighter.
Like he's still there.
Very well, I'll get to him once I can. Give me a price, Doctor.
As always.
And Riggs walks out to the main floor and then does. Commander Riggs to Counselor Duncan, please come in.
This is the counselor. Go ahead.
Are you busy, Counselor?
Not overly so. Is there something I can help you with?
Yes, I'd like to see you on the Akatsuki in Cargo Bay 1.
I see. I was heading back to the ship now. I'll meet you in Cargo Bay 1.
Excellent. Rick's out. And Rick's exits sickbay.
As the doors close behind you, you hear the doctor just suddenly shout out, "No, stop playing with that or you're going to open up the sutures."
Yeah, the counselor will head back to the ship.
All right, we could throw the counselor in here.
Is Rick still there?
Well, we're headed to Cargo Bay 1. If you wanna.
Yeah, he'll meet Rick's in Cargo Bay 1.
I.e. the temporary brig, in my mind.
Right, I guess I'll double this square as put you guys just outside of it. Populate with some Nausicaan.
Commander, have you been able to extract any useful information from our prisoners?
Not as of yet. We're still getting them interred, treating the wounds they suffered. However, I did ask. Go ahead.
I'm sure they're none too eager to offer anything up to us as well.
No, that's where you come in, Counselor. I was hoping you could help. Once we got on board the Nausicaan raider there, we encountered some infighting between these Nausicans. Now, finding out who is hostile and who could potentially be less hostile towards us and perhaps even give up some much needed information is of the utmost importance. I was hoping you could speak with a few of them, see if you can gauge their, well, not loyalty, but see how amenable they are to coming up with a deal to give us some information on what's going on here.
And Duncan, you are privy to the information that they all received individual messages trying to pay each of them to sabotage or kill some specific thing.
Oh, so they were being like manipulated to attack each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mostly offers of bars of latinum to kill this specific person or sabotage this specific system was sent to each individual.
And then the counselor will say, well, the Nausicaans, of course, come from a very violent culture. I'm sure Nausicaan mercenaries come at an affordable price.
They indeed do, and unfortunately do a very good job at it.
What sort of deal do you propose that we offer?
Anything to get the information that we need.
Well, Commander, I am a a medical practitioner and not a trained interrogator. I can't
But you are
exactly
a-
manipulate them as they have been manipulated.
I'm not asking you to manipulate them, Doctor. I'm asking you to gauge who might be willing to come to terms. Some
Well, I
of them will blatantly turn down our offer. Others might be more open to the idea. I'm hoping that your training in reading their behaviors might come in handy.
Well, I'm more than happy to give it a shot and see what I can suss out from the individuals that are here.
That would
As
be
you said,
appreciated.
they're paid mercenaries and not zealots.
If it's money they ask for, it can be arranged. However,
Sort
be
of plea
tactful.
bargain, I suppose. Well, I'll give it my best effort. Although I'll need somewhere to speak with them privately. I'm sure they won't be interested in giving up their comrades right in front of them.
Of course, you can use my office should you need to. All my department will be at your disposal as well.
Thank you, Commander. And yeah, he'll go in and I guess enter the cargo bay.
And as you step into the cargo bay, you just seen several makeshift cells made up, each one filled with a different Nausicaan, all of them looking angry, pissed off, making vile threats at the officers as they walk by. Some of them trying to punch on the walls, trying to find any types of weaknesses. Some of them staring angrily, almost snarling as you walk by.
Duncan will walk to the first one on the left. Busy couple of days for you, it seems. How are you faring in here?
He just laughs. Better than you'll be if you don't let us out of here.
And that's a lot of talk for a man in a cage. If you'd like to
Oh,
get
how
out of
about
here, if
he,
you'd like
he
to get
steps he steps forward to the edge of it. Why don't you open this up and you'll see. And I'll show you just how weak you are.
So you want to get out of here? Your chances are a lot better if you cooperate.
Cooperate with the likes of you.
And then he'll just wander on to the next guy and say the same thing. How about you? Are you interested to get out here, or do you want to rot in a cell with the rest of these?
There's not enough money in this sector, Starfleet. He just kind of turns his back on you.
Well, seeing as you have no money right now in a cell, I'm sure it could be arranged for, in exchange for some information, for a compensation that would be enough to let you find your way back to Nausicaan space, restart your working lives.
He'll kind of just move to Wally against it. How much money we talking? Because you're gonna need very deep pockets.
Well, this is just one of our ships. The Federation's wealth is vast. You think we're easy targets. But it's right now it's you sitting in that cell and not me. How about you come with me and we'll have a discussion?
Look around you, Starfleet. Do any of us look like we are in peril? Do any of us look like we're worried?
Of course, you'll be treated well by the Federation. But you would spend the next foreseeable years of your life in a prison. There's no one coming to rescue you, and there's no way to escape.
There are things in this universe a lot better than your veiled threats.
And you'll never see them.
If that's what you think. And he just kind of walks away from the edge, sits on the bench in the back.
Can I do a general, assessment of the body language of all of the prisoners in case there's one who
Oh, yes.
isn't standing so defiantly?
Give me an insight. What would this be? Trying to assess body language, so I'm thinking probably like insight command or insight con, maybe.
Would it be medicine for psychoanalysis? Or for body language? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know how
could
this
see
works.
that. Yeah, I could see medicine too.
Psychology for focus?
Yeah.
Alright. Finally, a psychology roll. I'll use a threat for bold medicine.
What was the roll result?
I got 3 successes. Did it send for everyone else?
Oh, I'm looking at a different screen as I'm trying to type the feeling
Okay,
here.
no worries.
I don't think I ever gave you a difficulty, but we'll call it 2. Did you give me any threat? I think I remember that.
I did give you one threat, yes. Duncan's going to step outside and speak with Rix.
Any luck so far?
Tough crowd in there. It's rather unusual. I've never seen such a resolute group of people locked in tiny cells. I'm wondering if they have more up their sleeve than we've realized.
Well, hopefully the investigation of the raider turns that up.
None of them were even open to the idea of speaking with me, even with the offer of financial compensation. They all seem quite sure that they won't be there for very long. If that tells us anything.
That is very interesting.
We could force them into the questioning room, but I'm not sure how productive it would be.
Forcing a Nausicaan is not a good idea.
I think it would be best to monitor them closely and keep a very keen eye on the security situation here. I call it a hunch, but I think we could be in for some sort of trick or trap.
Trust me, Doctor, I'm way ahead of you. There's still Nausicaans in the sick bay. Once they're healthy, see if you can have another go at them. See if we can find a weak link somewhere.
Of course, I'm happy to assist in any way that I can.
And it's most appreciated, Doctor. Thank you.
The counselor will go to his office just to write down any notes that he had from his encounter. Just general observations on the Nausicaans in cargo bay.
Based on what the counselor said, I think Rix would want to try and enhance the security of the brig, see if we can place a backup generator in place for the force fields on the cells, just in case something happens, they stay incarcerated.
Okay. Give me a control engineering difficulty of 2 to create the trait.
Give you a threat for bold.
Remember, this is engineering, not security.
No, yeah, security. Never mind. Why are my things weird? Take 2 momentum for additional dice. Four. Would my focus in computer security systems work?
I'll give you security systems.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me a threat and 2 momentum.
Yeah.
Okay. Takes you a little bit to integrate the systems, but you are able to add some backups to enhance the security fields here.
That's it for now.
Right. Where would you guys like to go next? Basically, who wants the floor?
Having King work on the demon pads.
Yeah, we could get to cracking.
Go to this spot because you don't have a big warp core in the. All right. I did say that these were very, very, very encrypted, and I believe that very, 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 very encrypted is going to be a. Ooh, I got all this threat too.
Hit me, baby.
Difficulty 4, complication 2.
Ooh. Okay. To add a little flavor to this, Kane is going to turn to the captain. Captain, these are very, very encrypted. Unfortunately, no one, well, on my team has any direct cryptography experience. I had a few classes in the academy around encryption, but this might be a task.
Well, while I have some knowledge in cryptology, I will definitely try to lend a hand. That we do need to find out what's on these data pads.
I would greatly appreciate that, Captain. He'll rub his hands together. Okay. He'll plug the pad into a terminal that's been isolated from the rest of the system, just to make sure if it's infected with anything, it's contained within this one terminal. Yeah, and then he'll get to cracking.
All right, I'm thinking that this is control or daring with engineering or security.
Daring engineering it is. Let's quick scan of my talent. Nope. 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 And probably not. Okay. Let's see here. Nah, you know what? I've relied too much on that value historically. Okay. You said diff 4 comp 2?
Yes.
Cool. All right. We're going to throw a lot of threat momentum at this. Computer systems for a focus?
I'll give it to you.
Thank you. I will definitely need it. Okay. Daring engineering. Let's get up to. It's going to be dicey. Take 1 threat, and then I'll burn 2 momentum. All right, and we'll let the dice decide. I'm not
Come
rerolling anything.
on, complication. Go complication. Kevin, you said you were assisting, yeah? And the ship
Yeah.
will probably assist here. Yeah, the ship will probably assist here also, probably computers engineering or computer security, whichever.
Daring security.
Yep. Oh, Come on, ship. Give me that complication.
Nice.
After all that, you get your momentum back. I hate how when you try to copy and paste something in Discord, it doesn't keep the formatting.
Yeah, they need to figure out this paragraph space.
So I posted. So as you encrypt it, there are a few personal captain's logs on there. I posted the one that is relevant. Most of it is just like personal stuff, but this is the one that's relevant to the situation. And I'm not sure about the start date. I don't know if that start date fits, but it's a start date. Yeah, I kind of figured it wouldn't. Well, we'll adjust that later, or I could just remove it.
Yeah. Is there a way to determine if they did miss their next two check-ins? Like maybe through the other logs, or if the check-ins were like automated like a dead man switch, potentially?
It didn't miss the check-ins. I mean, you figure like what he'd maybe talk to his sister once every other week, maybe. So
Gotcha.
not a lot of time it would have passed.
Gotcha. Okay.
I will say that this log is recent.
Okay.
Whatever star day we need to finagle to make this fit. It's recent, like within the last couple of days.
Captain, this is interesting. He'll hold up the decrypted pad. It's like the captain on board that freighter was suspicious that they weren't carrying what they were told they were carrying.
Also didn't see him at the cargo and matched what they were carrying. We need to beam over that cargo and go through it with a fine comb to figure out what exactly that they were hauling here, and if anything is missing. Is there another pad?
This was the only relevant thing. Like you went through all of them, and
Okay.
most of them were just personal things, letters to family, whatnot. This was the relevant one.
And need to figure out who this Keldran is.
Oh, Keldran's the Orion.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, Captain, we can certainly beam over the cargo, and we'll make sure to get it into special containment here, considering we don't know what it contains. Could be biologically dangerous, could be chemically dangerous. We don't know, but we'll get it over.
Commander. As she turns and
Captain.
notices Mahat.
Mr. Kane, I wish to bring this to your attention. During my examination of the Noskin radar, I found this data core on their ship. A preliminary scan indicated it contained a set of coordinates that seemed to change on a regular basis. I thought the commander here, and possibly you, might be able to extract more from it.
Kane will take it. Well, got a bit of practice, so see what I can do. As he starts plugging it in to the terminal. Interesting that you say changing coordinates. That was mentioned in the captain's logs as well.
The captain's logs from the freighter.
Yes, I do appear that the freighter captain was, well, by the recommendation of one of his Orion crew members, was engaged in some nefarious cargo. I'd have that cargo transported aboard the Akatsuki and gone through with a fine comb to see if anything was missing or transported.
Understood. I will have it moved to Cargo Bay 2. Mr. Gardner, if you will come with me to Cargo Bay 2, we will begin the transport sequences.
What? Oh, yes, of course, sir.
Oh, and Gardner, if you would mind, do a quick scan before transporting the cargo, just to make sure that there's, well, nothing that could damage the ship.
Prudent.
Of course, sir.
And we'll turn to the captain. As he's beginning to crack the pad that the commander just gave him. Both of these mention changing coordinates. I wonder if there's a pattern. It could be random, but if we determine a pattern in the changing coordinates, if there's some rhyme or reason, maybe we could figure out where to go to meet the next shipment. Okay. Yeah, Kane will basically get to work seeing if there's anything else on the pad that the commander gave him.
All right. Is there anything specifically you are trying to look for?
So first and foremost, I guess he's going to try to pull any information he can about the coordinates. Just go ahead and download those. Flight logs, anything like that. And then secondarily, the commander just asked him to, I believe, just kind of give it a scrub. So he's going to look for anything else that might be interesting on the pad.
All right. All right. This. All right. Say that again. What you're looking for, just so I get the clear idea and I can make the roll.
Yeah. So first and foremost, Kane is interested in this idea of coordinates. Maybe not being completely random, might be predictable. So he's going to see what he can pull from the pad the commander just gave him. And And then secondarily, he's basically just going to do an investigation on the pad itself to see if there's anything else interesting on it.
Okay.
I can do 2 rolls for that if.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking of how I want to structure this roll. How are you approaching the pad? Are you trying to like analyze the data, or are you just downloading the data?
Yeah, I mean, first it would be downloading, and then probably analyzing after download.
Okay, the downloading is not going to be hard because you already did, because that's an easy thing.
Mhm.
What's your moment? Yeah, your momentum's fine. So I'll give you a difficulty 1 to download the roll, but it is going to be a complication 3. So diff 1 comp 3 to make sure that you're able to download and copy all the data. We'll start there.
Cool. Control engineering.
I think this has to be daring. With what I have going on in the background, it's going to have to be daring.
I will take it.
And then you could, of course, get the free assist, and then the ship will assist with its computers engineering.
Awesome. And then you said diff 1 comp 3.
Yes.
Cool. Computer systems for a focus.
Yep.
Take a threat. Yeah, and based on Joe's GIF, I do want to remind people that this terminal that we're downloading it to is air gapped. So being very cautious on this one. And re-rolling that complication.
Okay. Since you said that this was to disconnect from the ship, I will not give you the ship assist.
Yep.
But you did succeed. All right. So as you start downloading the data, you do notice, and actually give me, do I think you'll notice this? I might have to give you a roll for that. Yeah, give me an insight. What is this going to be? This is going to be an insight con to see if you recognize something. Captain, since you're next to him, I'll give you the same roll. Ultimately, a difficulty 2.
Okay. Is this related to like a computer systems type thing, or is this
Actually, hold on. Let me take a step back and think about this.
Okay.
Just so I could get the things right. Okay. As you look at the data, you do notice that every 12 hours seems to be a new blip on the sector map of what you are assuming as coordinates. But what I need now is it's going to be an insight or reason engineering difficulty. I'm going to make this 3. Difficulty 3. This is to notice something about those points. And